All right.
My okay.
Welcome to Author Interviews for Rada Publishing House. My name is Lisa, and I have the honor and privilege of sitting down with Maya the Shaman today to discuss her incredible book called The Infinite Cosmic Records: Sacred Doorways to Healing and Remembering. How are you today, Maya?
I'm good. Thank you, Lisa. I'm happy to be here with you.
Good, as am I. I'm so excited to dive into this book. It is absolutely fascinating, and you are a fascinating person as well, so we'll get to learn a bit about your background too. And I'd like to just start with your bio so that our listeners know exactly who they're meeting right now. And who is Maya the Shaman? Born in Maharlika, which is also known as the Philippines, Maya comes from a lineage of shamans and healers of the ancient land of Mu or Lemuria. Having spent much of her life in America, she recognized the Western world's need for a superior healing modality rooted in Eastern traditions. Maya's unique healing methods are encapsulated in what she terms HBR, heart centered healing that bridges the ancient past with current healing needs through the art of remembering. The Infinite Cosmic Records is an extension of her Lemurian code healing modality designed to offer seekers the healing and wisdom they seek. So fascinating. It's such an honor to be sitting down with you and get to dive into this profound and powerful modality that you've brought to this world and to discuss your book. I'm so excited to get into it. And first, I think we could let the listeners know what exactly is your modality for these Lemurian healing codes.
Lemurian code healing has been activated through the assistance of my great-great-grandfather, Don Pedro, who is a Lemurian shaman, galactic shaman, I would say, because he's a very unusual being. And he helped me go through the process of having to go through my past lives. And so through my connection with him, I was able to see my past life connection with different people and places and timelines that was not usually accessible any other time or any other opportunity. But through his guidance, Don Pedro, I was able to access those timelines that are so important to me as a seeker myself, you know. So that was how it all started.
Wow. And so, when did this start for you when you were just a young girl? And what are these early days of you being interested in shamanism yourself?
Well, I started when I was 17 years old and I was practicing yoga and doing a lot of meditation. It was a time in my life when I lost my father in a tragic um,
Mm,
experience of having to feel the loss of a dear one to me.
mm,
And it was so tragic because he was working as an engineer in a Greek ship that's crossing the Red China Sea in an
mm,
evening when there was a huge storm that took place. And suddenly, tsunami took over and the whole boat, the whole ship sunk into the ocean. So it was so tragic that I felt so lost, and I went so deep into my meditation that the only thing I can do at that moment in time is to really hone in what is this life all about, you know? This
mm,
is too painful. And so as I went through the process of diving deep into my experience, I realized that we're beyond this third dimension, that there are other dimensions beyond this. And so it eased out my feeling of knowing that this is not everything. I mean, we are infinite beings, and through our inner work, we can really discover many parts of ourselves. And so I was given this wonderful opportunity to go so deep that every time I do my meditation, which I was so adamant about it, I was doing it 4 times a day, just lock myself in the room, totally become a vegetarian. And I just meditated, and didn't want to talk to anybody else. And before I would go to sleep, I would say a mantra that is so incredible. And just before that, that in between timeline, the awaken and sleep timeline, suddenly I was taken by the swirl of light, and it would take me swirling, and I felt like my whole soul, there's like an embodiment of spiritual experience. And it took me being able to see, I was going through this planetary experience. I was passing through all these planets and galaxies, and it's just the wildest experience I've ever had. And
Mm.
I believe it so much because it didn't happen just one night. It
Mm.
happened for 7 days, 7 nights.
Wow.
And so after that, I didn't want to speak with anyone. I
Mhm.
actually had the vow of silence for one entire year. That
Wow.
experience took me into a totally different level of consciousness. And so at that time, my extrasensory perception really kicked in. And I would see things that would happen in the near future, events that would take place. And when I ride a bus, I would go from my home to the yoga center just to meditate, but it took an hour to get there. So I would just close my eyes and tell the universe, okay, I'm going to meditate now. And when I open my eyes, make sure that I'm landing at the right place because I don't care about anything else. And
Wow.
so it happens all the time for the whole entire year. And during the time I was on a bus, this is so strange because I thought it's so normal for us human beings to hear thoughts of people. Like there will be 50 people to more than 50 people on a bus, and I can hear every single things that they're thinking, every single one. But because I'm so on a high frequency and high vibe, it didn't really bother me. I
Mhm.
was just so relaxed into it. I'm just letting it go through, just like a wind flowing.
Wow.
That was the experience.
Oh my gosh, I have full body chills. That is so powerful. And just this image of your grief taking you to this powerful initiation. And from that point, after your year of falling deep into this initiation of this healing modality, what was the next step after that that led you to creating the modality of the Lemurian codes?
Okay, so that's the time when I start seeking for my family history. And,
Mm.
I talked to my grandmother about it. And later on, even in my early childhood, she would tell me something that's so unusual. But as a child, okay, it seems so okay, normal, right? But then I
Yeah.
didn't think too much about it. But after this experience, it draws me into a different paradigm. I was like looking at my life and the world and the cosmos from a different point of view. So my
Mm.
perspective is totally like, what is this all about? Right? The
Yes.
curiosity came in so strongly that I wanted to find out more. I mean, is it only me that's experiencing this? Are there
Mm.
other people that are experiencing what I'm experiencing? And so that question lingered for so long that I wanted to be someone that is like on a journey to figure out what is in me and what is in others that made me experience this very unusual unusual
Mm.
spiritual experience.
Right.
So, you know, my mother decided to go to America. And so I went to America with her, but then I could not stop feeling like, just being here in America. So I went back to the Philippines. And there I was led almost like a calling.
Mhm.
I was called to meet the land keepers of Lemuria.
Wow.
And it was the place where I was born, Laguna. And for some reason, there is this whole phenomena about this certain place in this province that, oh, you cannot go there. The people there would create sudden storms. You can get lost in the mountains,
Wow.
all kinds of stories,
Yeah.
but it was calling. So I felt like nobody wants to go with me. I said, please show me the way to that place. I wanted to know more. I was a
Wow.
very curious being.
Mm.
And so nobody wants to come with me. They were so scared. So I decided, okay, this is my solo journey. Okay.
Yes.
So I did. I took one ride of a jeepney that took, like some time. And then the jeep stopped at the very end of its route. And it was just like the road ended. Okay, there's no more place to go. And the jeepney driver said, "This is it. You're the last person. You gotta get out."
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, okay." So I did. And it was just, the land was just filled with coconut trees, just, there was just nothing there. So I said, okay, I guess I'm going to go into the wilderness now because there's nothing here,
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
I did. I walked through that area, and little by little, slowly, I have discovered, you know, this house that's unusual. And the roof of the house is like the beak of a bird. It
Wow.
was very long, and it's totally different from other architectural structure in the
Mm.
Philippines.
Yeah.
And so, seeing it from a distance, I can feel this energy, this vibration. So I gently walk there's a pathway. It was very clean and pristine. And then there were like elders doing meditation on each side of the path. They're probably 80, 90 years old, and they were. Silent and quiet,
Wow.
It's very mystical. And
Wow.
I walked, yeah, I walked through the path with with so much respect and honor. I just like, okay, whatever this is, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, but I'm gonna follow this path.
Mm.
And so I did. I walked through the pathway that leads to a doorway. It's like a huge door that just opens so wide. And it's almost like a cathedral opening. Okay. It's like, okay, what's in here?
Wow.
And so I walk in gently, and there was a woman standing with such presence. And her name is Isa. I would call her Isa. But what shocked me was in front of her. And what in front of her is a man levitating, I would say
My God.
12 inches above the ground. And he was on this levitation.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, that was like, okay, what is this? And
Wow.
he was just floating on the air. So I was like, oopsie, I don't know what I'm gonna say. This is
Oh
this is
my
something
gosh.
so new. Okay. And Isa was behind that man. And then she greeted me. She welcomed me and she said, I've been waiting for you. I was like, okay. I don't know what that meant. But
Oh my
anyhow,
God.
here I am. And then she told people it's time to take away the man's body floating in the air. And people came and took him out of the space. Okay, that was just a shocking experience for me because I've never seen that before.
Wow.
So the
No one
next thing,
has. Wow.
so we had, I was just so quiet because I was so stunned. I was like, I could not speak. So I
Mm,
just like, I bowed to her in reverence and respect, honoring the power that she possesses,
mm,
because you don't see this anywhere else in this country.
mhm,
And she is actually the land keeper that inherited the power from her father, who is also a lineage of Lemurians that has first came to planet Earth. It's a long
mhm,
lineage of beings. And she knows that, this is a little bit hard for someone that's just awakening, to perceive this type of power. So she was very loving, very gentle. She made me feel very comfortable. So I kind of lost that shock and feeling of like, oh, okay, should I run
yes.
back or should I just pursue
Yeah.
it?
Wow.
And I just
Wow.
felt so comfortable, within her presence.
Wow.
Yeah, it was it was
Full
cool.
body chills. I that made me so emotional too. I actually almost started crying hearing this, the truth of your words. And then what happened next? You gotta tell us.
Okay. Yes, the next one is like revelations,
Mm,
revealing who our ancestors were and why they're here, the
mm,
revelation. So she starts speaking in a very gentle, clear way, with first telling me, I am a descendant of Lemuria. That's the first thing she said, and she is, and that we are soul family. And then she talked about her father, and she said that her father is a portal keeper, and that kind of like resonated from what my grandma has been telling me that I just kind of put aside.
mhm,
And then she talked about there is a kingdom, a crystal kingdom beyond the Pacific Ocean. And her father is the one that opens the portal that leads towards this kingdom. So he's a
mm,
guardian,
mm,
he's a guardian, he's the gatekeeper.
mhm,
And through him, people are able to go and visit the crystal kingdom in the inner earth.
mm,
And and she told me, these mountains are doorways. They are
mhm,
doorways to the inner galactic realm on the inner earth. And her father can go through these mountains, and then these mountains inside the mountain go straight down into the Pacific Ocean. So there's a portal
mm,
that moves him through this mountain and entering down to connect her. And she, she said that we are here to do our mission, and the mission is coming into its timeline. It's like, okay, this is coming into that moment when she's able to connect with other Lemurians and speak about the truth about Lemuria.
mhm,
And so the whole time I was with her, I was so high. It's almost like she would be talking and I'm in a totally different dimension. It's like
yes,
almost like my mind is out. I could not even ask her question because I was so in a different state of consciousness. Imagine
yes,
being in the presence of a being that is able to take you in a totally different state of consciousness in just being right there at the presence, right in front of you.
wow,
That
wow,
is like so powerful. And I didn't know the time has passed. It became darker and darker, and I just felt like there is no movement. The time and space just moved out of this third dimension,
Yes.
it's
Wow.
gone.
Yes.
There's no more time and space. I was
Hmm.
just in the moment.
Wow.
And I discovered more about her that Isa is a healer and she helps women in the land that has been experiencing disillusionment, depression, out of body experience, or going through an enlightenment that they don't understand what's going on, a transition, an awakening of Kundalini, I would say. And
Hmm.
nobody can understand what's taking place, but she was able to assist and help these people go through the process. And so she told me that they know exactly what's going on the planet Earth since the beginning of time. This has
Hmm.
been an awaited moment. They let the drama, the cosmic drama, take place.
Hmm.
And there has been a lot of shifts and changes planetarily that has made Lemuria break up into all these islands. There's over
Hmm.
7,000 islands in the Philippines.
Yes.
And it's all working with Gaia, actually, you know.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is incredible. How long did you spend with Isa in this area of Laguna?
I actually I didn't spend much time with her, but that was enough time. But then I came back again.
Hmm.
And the mistake that I have done was to bring someone that is not in alignment with
Hmm.
her energetic field. This
Hmm.
person is, he was a friend, but then at the same time, his ego was so huge that he
Mm.
felt like he blocked the energetic field. So I learned my
Wow.
lesson at that time. I could not just bring anybody there. And I
Wow.
thought, okay, I'm going to be bringing people. I want to show people where these places. But no, that's not how it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be only to the ones that was called upon by that energetic field of that land to come.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. So the second time I was with Isa, I was actually with other two other women. And at that time, it was just an experience of telepathic communication between us because Isa
Yes.
does not want to entertain the guests,
Yes.
and I did not know that. I'm not supposed to bring
Wow.
other people there. Yeah.
Yes.
So I learned
Oh,
my
wow.
lesson.
Mm.
And yeah. And so anyhow, the time that I was with her, we were speaking telepathically. And she was saying that you have to bring out the mission into the world
Mm.
because a time will come when this disclosure is going to take place. So I was there. We slept overnight. They were very hospitable. The people that was there that was helping her
Mm.
gave the whole space and beautiful space for us, but it was only telepathic communication at this time.
Yes.
So she wanted me to return on my own, you know,
Hmm.
and but at the same time, she continued to work with me, even without having to see her in person. And this also coincided with my Lemurian code healing and infinite cosmic records because I start seeing visions and I start working with my great great grandfather, Don Pedro, who has led me through the lifetimes that I've had in the past.
Oh, yes. Wow.
Yes, it's it's a
Oh,
journey, that's for
this
sure.
is so phenomenal. And wow, I'm almost at a loss for words. This is just so beautiful. And you're carrying out not only your life path and mission, but the greater mission of Lemuria, right? Of these ancient beings who are here to help everyone wake up to their heart-centered existence and a remembering. And I believe that's what your modality is, correct?
Yes.
You take people through this guided meditation with visualization and please could you walk us through what an experience looks like to help people open up their hearts and remember?
Okay. I just first want to introduce this book,
Yes.
Awakening Starseed. And this book, let me start with the first one. I'm sorry. I want to bring
Yes.
this in. In this book is the story of my grandfather, great-great-grandfather, Don Pedro. Okay. So if
Mhm.
those people wanted to know more about Don Pedro and my Lemurian great-grandfather shaman, this is the book that you'd like to read. And
Amazing.
this second book, of Awakening Starseeds, this is
Mhm.
where Isa story, you know, has been manifested in this book. So just a thought that might be interesting.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Awakening Starseeds Volume 1 and Volume 2. Wonderful.
Yes. So what was your question, my dear?
I'm curious about because I know that your book, Infinite Cosmic Records, it's these experiences of people that you've worked with, bringing them through their transformational journey, these healing, journeys through remembering. And what does that look like? What does a session look like with someone?
All right. So I have a basic, advanced, and master program that I'm offering my students. And when they first stepped into Infinite Cosmic Records, the first phase of it is the cleansing process. And
Mhm,
cleansing the chakras is essential because if you're going to go into the Infinite Cosmic Records, it's important to have clear chakras. And
mhm,
so I go through their chakra cleansing with them, and they can be on Zoom or they can be on a phone far away. They could be in Europe or Asia because my clients are from all over the
mhm.
planet. And so I was able to do this through my voice and through seeing them like this. So after the cleansing of the chakras, it's actually bringing the light into the body, you know,
Mhm,
creating light body. And when the light body is already infused, not only that the body is the place where light is, but it expands through the aura, okay?
mhm,
So the auric field is important to be cleansed as well. And then I lead them through this visualization and I walk them through this open field where they would eventually end up entering a doorway that goes to the inner earth.
mhm,
Okay, so this is the Lemurian healing that I do. And when I walk through these 12 steps of opening a portal, they go into a dungeon. And with their intention that's set in place, I would tell them that whatever doorway they would see that magnetically pulls them in, they need to enter that doorway, but they have to wait until I say so because
mhm,
they have to describe first what are the doorways looking to them and the features of the doorways.
mhm,
So they do, and then they would enter this doorway. And some of my clients get really, they're different experiences, okay? Sometimes they will be opened up into this magnificent rainforest, beautiful Amazon-like,
mhm,
or sometimes they would step into the edge of the cosmos and there's nothing.
Wow.
but stars and galaxies, and they're like at the edge of it.
Wow.
And then sometimes they would start seeing. One time there's a woman that I work with, and she wanted to step into the space, but there was no floors, and she would fall into an abyss. She would just drop down and
Wow.
enter another doorway or pathway that leads to another place. So there's a whole realm of
Wow.
activity that,
Yes.
depending upon one's past lives and their experience, whatever they needed to experience according to the universe. Okay, this is not
Yes.
my creation, this is not their creation. This is according to the cosmic realm that's taking them.
Yes.
I'm just a conduit. You know,
Yes.
it's the cosmos, the universe, that takes them to places where they needed to experience. They can have trauma in another lifetime. They can have looping lifetimes in this current lifetime they can't get out of. So
Hmm.
whatever it is, or a future desire to get to know what their future is. So the universe will give them, the access to all these places where they needed to be. And
Wow.
each person have their own unique experience. Another client of mine have experienced her galactic family,
Wow.
Arcturians, you know,
Oh,
cosmic
wow.
stuff. So, there's just a whole bunch of experiences depending upon really the person that
Yes.
going through it.
It gives them exactly what they need for their path at that moment. And it
Yes,
brings so much healing and transformation. And I imagine direction, right? It helps people align to their soul mission, their life purpose, and their life path.
absolutely,
That's so
absolutely.
powerful.
Because it's an opening, it's like something
Yes.
cracked open in their being. And it's almost like that area where they crack open, that's where the universe comes in and allows you to see more of yourself. Because we're not just third dimension beings, we're multidimensional beings. I mean, we as human beings came here for a purpose, each one of us. We're all
Yes.
unique. So we have a
Yes.
totally separate way of doing this. And before we came to planet Earth, we were having a soul contract created for
Mm-hmm.
us with
Mm-hmm.
our desire to experience what we wanted to experience. It's like,
Yes.
for example, a Lemurian being would come back, and would like to be born in another land where there's another language, another customs or tradition, in order to expand their consciousness on what their dimension is like, how it feels to be human.
Yes. Wow. And this is all for soul development and just a remembering. Is that it?
Absolutely. It's the state of remembering who we are. It's the ultimate remembering because
Yes.
it's a spiritual process. The healing work that I do is a spiritual process. There's nothing else that I could describe it because it really has to do with the spirit, your spirit, my spirit, and the spirit of the great universe and the infinite cosmic records that holds all our spirit in place. It's the source of all that is. It records everything, and it's beyond what we can even imagine or think about.
Yes.
So it's a
Wow.
powerful reality.
Yes. Your work is absolutely incredible. You are absolutely incredible. And everyone, you must read Maya the Shaman's book, Infinite Cosmic Records, Sacred Doorways to Healing and Remembering. I know that you also do one-on-one work.
Yes, I just wanted to show my
Beautiful.
book. Know people have seen this
Wonderful.
already.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And how can people get in contact with you if they're interested in working with you?
They can just either write me an email,
Mhm.
lemuriancodehealing@gmail.com.
Wonderful.
And I'm changing my website right now, so it's kind of down, but they can also text me. I can give my phone number. Only text because I'm always with people talking on the phone. So I appreciate it if
Yes.
people can only text me. My phone number is 310-933-2568.
Wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so much for sharing your gifts with the world, for sharing your voice, for creating this book and sharing this modality. It's so needed. And you are truly such a beautiful soul. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate your presence here too. I love the fact that we're really enjoying our conversation. And
Yes,
it's
I don't
all
want it to
about,
end.
yeah, we'll have more about that.
Yes,
More on Lemuria.
wonderful. That's right. Thank you so